What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Around the Metaverse, our weekly show where we bring together some of the best content creators from the blockchain and NFT gaming community, talk about all the recent news, and give you guys everything you need to know to stay up to date. My name's Adam. I'll be your host today, but more importantly, we have our great group of guests for y'all, as usual. We got CryptoStache in the house, getting ready for his favorite holiday this coming Thursday, I'm sure.
Yes! Oh my gosh, thank you so much for saying that, man. I love St. Patrick's Day. I played in an Irish band for years, all these drinking songs, and I'm going to do a live stream. Some people were asking about it. I'm going to do a live stream like I did last year where we just hang out and I'm actually going to play tunes. So I'm going to sing and play guitar for you guys and drink beer.
Is this awesome. the yearly tradition now?
Yeah, I think so.
This is the way, dude.
This is the way.
All right. We got Zueljin back in the house, man. Good to have you back.
What's up? Thanks, man. I forgot all about St. Patrick's Day ever since Bennigan's moved out the local town that we eat at. I might join in your little celebration because that sounds fun. We don't do shit for that holiday, unfortunately.
Yeah, hang out, come drink with me. You know, I'm playing some tunes. You can't beat that.
Do
man.
Green beer? Beer?
I don't do the green beer, but I drink.
Get some more duels.
Get some more. Getting us all the way, baby.
It was fun last year, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got an old face back once again. The unofficial sensei of culture, Young Content.
Peace, beloved, peace. Thanks for having me back, guys. Sure. All these legends in the building. Can't wait to talk to you all.
Of course. And last but certainly not least, we have Miss Teen Crypto, keeping it zesty as usual, I hope.
Zesty.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for keeping the zest up in here. Everyone here is so zesty. I'm happy to be here.
All right, well, we got a jam-packed show for you guys watching today. Some great things to talk about, but before we dive into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure to show the YouTube algorithm a little bit of love to get this content going. We appreciate you guys, so thanks for that. But let's jump right into it. We got a jam-packed show for you guys. We're going to be talking about Yuga Labs, the creators of Bored Ape Yacht Club, acquiring the CryptoPunks IP. Probably the biggest announcement that anyone's talking about, at least in the last week or whatever, in the NFT space. We're going to be talking about battle of the NFT marketplaces, and if we're about to see maybe some people finally kind of give OpenSea a little bit of competition, a run for their money. And then lastly, we're going to talk about if play to earn is a Ponzi scheme or not. If it's all just a giant pyramid scheme. If it's ever going to work out, or if we're all just talking about nonsense out here. But let's jump into it. First and foremost, Yuga Labs buys CryptoPunks. So if you didn't see, you must live under a rock because it's all anyone's been able to talk about recently. The creators of Bored Ape Yacht Club acquires the CryptoPunks IP. And, it's pretty much a huge move of them continuing to make headline moves. Kind of surprising, kind of not. I want to get your guys' opinion on it. Stache, let me start with you. Why do you think they did this? Like, what's Yuga Labs going to gain from acquiring the CryptoPunks IP?
I mean, what do they gain? Obviously, I mean, I feel like that's fairly obvious. They gain one of the most recognizable NFT projects that has ever existed. I mean, that's one of the biggest things to gain there. Now, why did this happen? I mean, I feel like Yuga Labs essentially just kind of, we knew they didn't have their heart in the game. They never really did, but for them, this is an easy exit. I mean, did they release how much they actually paid? I don't think they did. I don't think they released how much they paid.
I didn't see a number
to take it over. Yeah. So I think that this was probably a massive, massive deal. This is a huge payday for Yuga Labs. They don't have to worry about any of the future anythings, right? Anything having to do with NFT law, NFT regulation, anything like that. They're essentially absolving themselves of any of those future problems by selling this to Yuga, and Yuga says, "Yeah, great, we'll take it over." So I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things is they get like one of the most recognizable brands in all of NFTs. That's a pretty big win there when you already have the second most recognized brand in NFTs,
or arguably the first, honestly,
or arguably the first. But I think that
something. If you own Park Place, you might as well buy Boardwalk, even if it's a free.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And that's kind of where they're at right now. So they made this big acquisition. I think it makes total sense. And honestly, I think it's the best thing that could have happened to CryptoPunk holders, because now they're going to get a company that, and MeBits holders as well. Now they're going to get a company that hopefully is going to, activate it, do something with the brand. The first thing that they already did was obviously say, hey, you have full commercial rights. We're giving that to everybody. You can go do whatever you want, reproduce your punk in any way. We're not going to go after you. We're not, that's what you have as part of your NFT, which is kind of cool to have that retroactive utility. But I think it's a win-win for everybody, to be perfectly honest. I just, like I said, the only question that I have, the only thing still in my mind is why? Why now, Larva Labs, and why this move? And that's what I want to know. Were they just tired of it? Did they look at it as just a big payday, or were they just not really, they wanted to get out? And this is a great way of doing it. So that I'm a little sus on. Otherwise, I like it.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe we'll see, maybe they had some kind of inside knowledge. I didn't even consider what you had first mentioned about them being absolved of any sort of responsibility when it comes to regulation and things like that.
Maybe they know something we don't.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I didn't think about that, but maybe they might have an insider. They were the first NFT company, sort of, in a way. But yeah, Zueljin, let me get your opinion, man. Do you, Stache kind of touched on this, but do you think that this is going to benefit punks and meebits as a collection in the long term? I know punks, I don't know about meebits, but punks right after the announcement shot up in price for a little bit, came down a little bit from then to now, but I mean, still seems pretty bullish news. What do you think?
I mean, I think so, because it's a very active team. Bored Apes is still trying to do things that are very innovative. Larva Labs has just been kind of twiddling their thumbs and collecting, royalties. And it's a buyer's market right now. I think with all the FUD in the industry, it was probably, if they wouldn't have done it at all-time high, right? Everybody thinks about selling when you see this much red in the market, both on the NFT side and the crypto side. So I think it was just an opportune moment, possibly. And the fact that, like I said, the Park Place Boardwalk thing, honestly, if I was a holder of CryptoPunks, I would be excited because the team is very, very engaged. What was it? Less than a year ago, they just did the whole mutant ape thing. The team is still quite innovative. There's a lot more press about Bored Apes lately than there is CryptoPunks. Jimmy Fallon bought a Bored Ape a little while back. He didn't buy a punk. So I imagine as a holder, they'd be quite happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. They're definitely playing Monopoly out here when everyone else is not, maybe. But I'm curious, Young, what's your opinion, man? What do you think that their next big move might be after this? Like Zueljin was saying, why not buy Boardwalk? What do they buy after Boardwalk?
Cybercars.
Yeah. I mean, you got the Apes token coming out. It's maybe it brought some vitality to the market. Like you said, Stache, some insider trading. Who knows? But we have a lot of tribalism in these PFP spaces. So for them to acquire that, it's just good for competition for all these other PFPs. But what I think about that is, the floor of the Bored Apes was 72 ETH just the other day. Now it's at 99 ETH. Can that bounce back over 100 ETH? Is this the month of the year of acquisition? Is this the month of acquisitions? Well, next week we'll have Artifact saying something that they acquired this. They got that Nike partnership. So I think it's gonna surprise a lot of people. When you see Twitter sentiment right now, the mood is changing. People are, that whole Janet Yellen proposal, executive order by Biden is actually a little bullish, I believe, for crypto. It's going to delay that inevitable strike for maybe another year. Heard Crypto Wendy say that on her show. So yeah, if it bounces back, it's going to be good. It's going to be good for the space, and it's going to be good for my pockets.
Yeah, and I mean, I hope we see that too. And I agree with you. I think the executive order was I think a lot of people were expecting it to be hot garbage.
Yeah.
And it surprisingly wasn't for the most part. It was more, a good step in the right direction. But Miss Teen Crypto, I want to get your thoughts on the Yuga Labs punks thing too. What do you think? Do you think that Yuga Labs is going to continue with, kind of this aggressive push in the space? Or, do you see this maybe them being saturated now with both of these two major collections? If they keep kind of pushing it, do you think they're ever going to be able to spread themselves too thin as a company?
Not at all. I think this is actually like a very good move for them, especially like we were talking about before. There is a little bit of tribalism between communities, and it kind of brings people together. And I think that it sparks a lot of creation amongst other people, because there are people that own both, let's say, punks and Bored Apes, and now they have the rights to do whatever they want with both. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people that take advantage of this collaboration and them actually coming together with both of these collections. I think it's actually a really good move. I think there's a lot that could come out of this, whether that be games or future TV shows like I'm seeing people using with the IPs and everything. I think it's going to be really zesty, to say the least. I think it's a really good move.
Sure.
Really zesty indeed. Yeah, it'd be cool to see like some kind of Yuga Labs, honestly, what I think maybe the next move for them is, do they currently have a partnership with the Sandbox in any way? Is Bored Apes, or I think Bored Apes maybe already does.
They
right?
have a big old estate right up there, right, Stache?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have land in there. So, but it's not like they're not really doing anything right now, as far as I know, on it. I know they've been working on a game that's not Sandbox related. So.
Maybe we see a big giant Yuga Labs CryptoPunks Bored Apes experience come to the Sandbox. That would be pretty cool.
So my friend on Twitter did say, and shout out to AG, he said that this collab, I mean, Bored Apes and Yuga Labs could be your next Ed Hardy brand. You know what I mean? It really depends on how they brand themselves. You know, that shit could become the next Ed Hardy, and you know how that was popular and that died. So as long as they're like, dotting their T's, crossing their I's. I mean, the other way around.
Well, and you make a good point about, popularity and trends, right? So we see trends and popular things come and go so often, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like there's some go so quick, I don't even know the hell they happened. And then people are like, oh, you don't remember that? Like, hell no, man. Like, oh man, it was hot for like
the
a
BlackBerry
minute.
dude? Remember the BlackBerry dude? Well,
yeah, right.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Oh shit, I do remember the BlackBerry though, bro. I'm pretty young.
I'm sorry.
No,
I think these two collections are staples, though. I think that these are collections that people are going to know for a long time. I think that's why it's a good move as well. Like this is, I mean, especially there were games where you guys were saying Bored Apes was going to come out with the game. I'm not too sure about that. But if they were to come out with the game, that's a perfect opportunity for them to have people spawn their character avatars with their NFTs through their game. I think it is a really good opportunity in that angle too.
I mean, I feel you. I know that we see, people's attention shift so quickly. And whereas, things are hot, people are buying Bored Apes, oh, it's crazy, until the next thing comes along, and not that those things are going to necessarily be forgotten, but the attention won't be fully on them. I mean, any of you guys remember the Cool Spot? Anybody remember Cool Spot? You young fools don't remember none of that. The Cool Spot was the Coca, or was the 7-Up little character guy, and dude, that guy became so popular at one point that he was in movies. He had his own video games. I mean, it was like a crazy thing. And then I don't know, you don't hear nothing about Cool Spot anymore. Now, I mean, in general, it's kind of a little bit different, but these trends come and go, and even though this is mixed up with the financial element of things, I think that there could easily be a day where we see CryptoPunks, drop back down to, not being worth what they are now. We see that, kind of hype cycle die off after a certain amount of time. And we're really just seeing that with NFTs, while, CryptoPunks have been around since 2017, they really didn't take off as far as in this mainstream spotlight until 2021, and they have not really weathered what I would say an NFT bear market just yet, where we have a massive hype cycle for it, and then a massive correction for it. So that's what I'm definitely looking forward to. I'm not looking.
Yeah, the cards are still on the table.
I don't know. Has there even been an NFT bear market? I mean, really? What I mean?
It was all bear market until 2021.
Bear market until yesterday.
Bear cycles, I think, is more the way to explain it, and it usually all revolves around the big sets too, and the big sets usually are the ones that change and transition the scene too. When Bored Apes start trending again, all of markets start trending again. There's just as many rug pulls as ever, but there's also just as many successful projects that go under the radar.
Everything comes in cycles. Oh, go for it, Stache.
I was just saying, and the thing with these trends in particular, when it comes to crypto NFTs, is that they're high dollar, and so that means there's a high barrier to entry, right? When you look at any other trend in any other industry, whether it be fashion, video games, whatever it may be, anybody can jump in on this trend, and that's why why trends proliferate pretty quick, because so many people can get involved. right? But with Bored Apes and with CryptoPunks, you have a high barrier to entry. Most people can't get involved, right? So you then the trend starts shifting to other up and coming projects, and people wanted to try and get in, at the ground floor so they can make that big money like people have done in CryptoPunks. And the focus really becomes on on the profit and not necessarily how cool this thing is. And so I don't know. I think that's one of those long little macroeconomic things to look at when it comes to NFTs and their long-term value.
So we can agree it's all on trends. It's a lot of it is based on trends.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
The trend is your friend, I guess.
Good.
Yeah,
when we get to the segue about gaming being dead, I want to talk about trends.
Yeah. So alluding to that, or maybe from what your take is going to be on that, sell your Bored Ape while the money is good.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into that last topic first. I think actually, because that is a good segue into getting into the play to earn element.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, what is play to earn a Ponzi scheme is what we're going to be talking about next for you guys watching. And there's been a bit of controversy, and I mean maybe some evidence now to support that. Many of the play to earn games that exist today have not, in a sense, succeeded, right, in their goal with having a stable economy. And a lot of people are saying now that it's really almost nearly impossible to set up a healthy economy, especially in the crypto ecosystem that we have today. So, I mean, just to give you guys an example, tons of play to earn games have come out where essentially the same thing happens. The game starts up, early investors get in on it, early players get in on it. The token goes up a little bit. People start to hear about the game, start to hear, oh, this is cool. We're making a little bit of money on the side. Everyone floods into it. The token rockets, and then it reaches a point of saturation where rewards start coming out to players. There's a large enough player base. There's enough selling pressure, constant selling pressure normally, for just the token to completely dive into the dumpster. We saw that with, a couple times with Axie now at this point. We've seen it with Pegaxy. We've seen it with Thetan Arena. We've seen it with, you could probably name 20 different projects if you really tried hard enough. Crypto Blades, that was one a while back. That was a pretty quick shot.
What happened to my skill, dude? Damn.
But yeah, I want to get your guys' opinion on this from the experts themselves, not economists, but I guess generally in the scene. Stache, let me start with you. Do you think play to earn will remain a dominant trend in crypto-enabled video games?
I think that it will. I don't see that going away. I think that there is something there. Now, are we early? We are. Are there going to be mistakes made? Yeah, there are being mistakes made every single day, and that is how technology works. There are massive mistakes made in the early days of the internet, man, and it's taken a while until it really comes into its own and finds that stride, right, of the perfect combination of technology and of user interface. And I don't think we're really there yet with play to earn and crypto gaming and NFTs. And that's why I kind of I balk at some of these people who are like, NFTs are ruining everything, and they have no value, and it's all a Ponzi scheme. And I'm like, well, the problem is most things in their early stages kind of feel like that in technology in particular. NFTs kind of have this melding of the financial and entertainment side of things. So because of that, it maybe feels a little bit more like being a Ponzi scheme. But in general, anything that's new and emerging like this, there's going to be massive problems until we really kind of figure it out. And I don't think we're there yet. We haven't seen long enough development cycles in particular for really good games to really try this out. But if you look at what we're trying to do with play to earn, it's really just, improving upon systems that are already here. It's not like we've created a whole new paradigm. It's not like, oh my gosh, crypto games are one thing that's so vastly different than any other type of game out there. It's literally just doing the exact same thing, but giving you ownership over the items you were already collecting and possibly already selling on eBay, to make money, but doing it illegally, right? And it's building that loop that is already happening, that game loop that's already happening outside of the game. We'll say probably against most games tosses. It's already happening. We're just trying to build it into the game and make it something that works and can be vetted, and people can feel safer about doing a lot of things. And I think people get lost in that all the time when they talk about crypto games. They just all think about, what about the profit? It's all about profit. But really, the play here is, video games that are, ones that we love playing, but incorporate these elements that protect the gamer a little bit more, give them a little bit more freedom, and also allow the devs to make maybe a little bit more profit too, but in a way that is not, marking up what you're already used to in current gameplay with, buying skins or buying a video game from the get-go.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you bring up a good point there too, and I thought you kind of touched on this recently also on that podcast with Alluvium, when you were talking about how, or at least the other guest was talking about how this is going to bring, these new elements are going to kind of bring new considerations to what games are, and while on one hand it's going to be beneficial for the end user, there are also considerations on the other hand that are going to need to be had. And Zueljin, I want to get your opinion. Like, do you think that crypto games and games like this are ever going to get like over-regulated? Like, doesn't this sort of bring up concerns in some ways for like child labor laws or like securities laws or things like that? I mean, do you think like the hammer is going to come down at some point for these things? Because the whole scholarship program type thing could be looked at very negatively in the right, like, regulatory, or in the wrong regulatory way, I guess I should put it.
I mean, right now it's already to that point to where people are abusing it, but they were abusing the system before cryptocurrency came along, to be fair. They had Chinese sweatshops 15 years ago when we were doing Ultima Online and people were doing gold farming operations, hiring 6 and 7 year olds to slay cows and sell leather in Ultima Online, to NPCs just to sell $1 million gold for 20 USD, So I don't think regulation or over-regulation is going to stop criminals from wanting to be criminals, but the blockchain verification is necessary for a lot of these things to do what we want them to do at their highest level. Like, there's a bunch of functional systems in place that we have, but currently it's kind of broken and it needs some improvement. But just like Stache said, like, it's an evolution. It's not going to be perfect right now. And depending on when regulation steps in, it may or may not be ready to be regulated or over-regulated. And just like anything else, a parent that has a child that's completely out of bounds and doing dangerous things has to be very disciplinary. Whereas a child that barely does anything wrong and can pretty much take care of himself doesn't need much parenting. And I think that's how the US government and probably a lot of other governments are going to handle it. It depends how much money being laundered is going on, how much crime is around these, how much regulation that we're going to get when it comes, and in what phases. They have a lot of stuff going on in the industry that's changing the way we perceive it even right now. And I really don't know how regulation is going to affect it in the long run, but I do know that we need some. We can't really decide how much we're going to get, but I think we can all agree that there needs to be some, because right now it's kind of wild west. If we ever want mass adoption, at least, which I think we'd all be in agreement that we do.
See, the free market capitalist part of me is like, let the Wild West continue. But at the same time, it's interesting to think like it would be really like one of the worst cases I could see happening from, like, I guess the US side of things would be like, imagine if they had some kind of like generalized KYC requirements for any sort of game that, was going to be crypto enabled and have a financial aspect to it, where like, you have to be 18 to be able to earn from it. And if you're not 18, like, maybe you could still play, but you don't earn from it. Like, that would suck. You know what I mean? And I could totally see that being something that like
would be broken
happens,
too, Those rules would be broken too. People would do the same thing as they do to get around age restrictions and VPNs and all that other stuff. Like, I don't think that kind of regulation is going to stop in at least effectively stop what people want to do anyway. It would have to be much more over, because there's no one ring to rule them all. Like, the people that are doing these things aren't going to help regulate that. We're thinking like responsible drivers, because right now behind the wheel, we wouldn't kill anybody. But as soon as you have a kid, you like, oh, they're driving now. What I mean? It's a whole different ball game when you aren't in control. Like, we're versed in all this stuff. We know how to navigate it. We even get screwed sometimes, but we can predict a lot of the dangers that will come. Whereas there's a lot of people in this industry that just have disposable income that they're going to lose because there's no policing.
Yeah. I mean, the same could be said too in that regard for like kids who spend their parents' credit card money on V-Bucks and loot boxes and things like that.
Yeah.
And you know, like you guys were saying, or Stache the other day too, it's like, you know, with crypto, you can actually get the money, a little bit of money back for those things if you want,
Sure.
for the most part.
You can cancel a Visa credit card charge on V-Bucks though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
$5,000.
That's shady though, man. That's still shady.
You screwed, man.
The beauty of credit and the fiat dollar, man. The beauty of credit and the fiat dollar.
Yeah.
the one upside, right? You can cancel your credit card payments if they're fraudulent.
Yes.
But yeah, Young, I want to get your opinion, man. Like, who would you say benefits the most right now from like what the current play to earn model we see in most of crypto gaming? Like, is it the devs? Is it the end user? Is it the VC? Like, what would you say?
It's definitely the higher ups. I mean, for the macro perspective, like what the beloveds were saying, you know, the gaming industry is a big macro market. That's a big industry market. It harbors a lot of attention. You know, I feel like some of these SEC companies or regulations are going to want to benefit for one of the biggest growing. Give it 5 years. You know, you're going to want to be playing to earn all the time with your attention. But yeah, the VCs, the devs, they from Crypto Blades, from Axie. You know, I put my ears to the streets when it comes to play to earn. So I invest in like the real ones that are continuing to build right now and haven't offered a coin or an offering. You know, they're just literally building the game. You know, they'll invite you into beta. That's the stuff I like to put my hands on. Your Parallels, your Huxleys, your Watcher, who has a Ubisoft partnership. Even that spiked and fell. You know, people are speculating with the, you know, buy the rumor, sell the news, all that. So it's just, it's about finding the right builders. And I think when you do the right thing, you're not going to be expending so much of your crypto on that. You're just going to do your research, spend the time in the Discord, get on that early alpha, and hopefully you're early enough where you can start earning in those real true play to earn games.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully it'll last long enough where, you know, you're in it long enough to make a return on your investment and still make some on the side a little bit. Yeah. And then from there,
we just get greedy with the $1 million. Oh, I'm gonna make $1 million on skill today. You know, like it's just,
I'm gonna quit my job, my day job, and just play Axie Infinity all day.
That's the way it's marketed too, though. Like, you don't hear stories about somebody supplementing their income. You hear about people replacing it, right? Because that's what makes a better headline. We do it too. We clickbait all the time, but that's the way it's formulated. And venture capitalists, investing schedules and stuff like that, a lot of people understand and can predict those market cycles where retail investors can't. I can't even do it. I'll look at this stuff every day. You know, I ask people and watch people to learn about it so that I can better do it. But I watch people like CryptoStache because he knows a hell of a lot more than me, you know. But that's what a lot of the industry does, and things move in waves, you know.
Yeah, and you know, Mustache loves Zueljin for the shout out.
For sure.
But Miss Teen Crypto, let me ask you, what would you say is your like vision, or like how do you see the crypto gaming space evolving from where we are now?
That's a big question. I see it going in every single direction, whether that be like different collections coming together, interoperability between blockchains, and just earning in different ways. So I think that there's going to be a lot that comes with play to earn games. And I think there's just going to be different types of play to earn games. Like, I know a lot of us are playing things like Axie Infinity, Splinterlands, but there's also really cool games by Thunder. They're more like lightning people. So if you could play the game and just earn tickets, which you could cash out for Satoshis. So I think there's going to be a lot of different types of play to earn games. And I'm very excited to see where all of this is headed, not with just Satoshis and, you know, tokens, just different types of cryptocurrencies and NFTs being used. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great and bright future for sure.
Hell yeah. And shout out Ken Bozak in the chat, who thinks Fortnite skins are scams and also likes chocolate milk very much. Thank you, Ken Bozak.
I love. We were talking about that. I love chocolate milk. Chocolate milk is the best.
Yeah, one of the best drinks. Honestly, better than normal milk. Like if you're gonna drink
Yes.
milk, you might as well put chocolate in it.
You know what? Why not take this step further and just get chocolate ice cream and make a milkshake? Because I feel like, you know,
Ooh.
like I feel like that's just the like the
alpha.
top of the zest. Yeah,
I'll
like
go for it. Yep.
Yeah,
breaking the zest
APO.
meter with that
Miss
one.
Teen Crypto always with the ice cream alpha for you guys
For
watching.
sure. This is the way.
So
But,
All I
re-
talk about is food. It's so bad.
I was gonna say, real quick about the whole like Ponzi scheme and play to earn games kind of feeling like that. I think the weird thing about it is because crypto games are necessarily what we would call a traditional Ponzi scheme, right? In traditional Ponzi scheme, the way it works is the people who got in early are only going to be paid out because new people are coming in and investing into it, which is then going directly into their pockets. Now, the way this works with crypto gaming is that, people don't necessarily need to come in, but only when someone's trying to cash out. So you could still have that amount of funds locked in as an early whale, we'll say, in a game. And even if new people come in and they're not buying your assets, it's not necessarily directly tied to the fact that you need to, you're not gonna be able to cash out anything. It could be somebody who was, got in before you that ends up buying your assets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what we kind of see with the traditional Ponzi scheme is it's always like, well, it has to be new people. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And then you see this kind of top-down thing. Nobody on the top level is ever buying or buying out somebody on the third level, right? And that's kind of the little difference here. Is that it could be anybody that's still invested in the game, still wanting to play it. It doesn't necessarily have to be that new people have to come into the game for it to continue to survive, or for people to be able to cash out their assets. Even if you only had 100 people. Same 100 people playing a game and no one new ever came in, but they all believed in, they like doing it, like playing it. People are going to kind of come and go when it comes to their time invested, what they're, how they feel about the team and the game itself, and may decide like, oh man, I really love this. I need to buy more X because I want to do more of this in the game. And I think that's where I think it's where like really good burn mechanics come into play. Whereas you're earning these things, but what they're doing is really unlocking more advanced gameplay for you. Then, and in the end, where it's like, hey, well, if I want to sell this sword because I'm totally done with this game, then I can. But I think the problem is that most people look at this as like, I'm just here to make money. It's not about the game. And I think that's the worst way of looking about it. And if that's the only way you examine play to earn as an element, then yes, of course, you're going to see it as something that's going to be negative. But I think that there is potential there. How we found the right combination, probably not. But I see potential in the long term.
Yeah. And if that's the only way you're viewing play to earn games, you're probably not a gamer anyway. So,
or the game that you play in is not a lot of fun. If it's an investment opportunity, it's an effort, it's kind of the same thing. I don't know about you guys, but I'll play Fate and Arena right now, regardless if the economy is broken as hell or not, because I really enjoy it. I've spent a little bit of money in it, but I haven't traded off or sold any characters or anything. I just enjoy it. In fact, I still want some more. But I think a lot of that has to do with just how fun the game is. I still play a lot of free games. I'm wearing a shirt from a free game right now. I freely gave them money because I care about their success, and it has nothing to do with sponsorships. It has nothing to do with my YouTube channel. I don't make content for them. It's just something I'm into, right? So if a game is that fun and it has the ability to get currency from it, then cool. You get some return back on your time invested.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're gonna see. Oh, go for it, MTC.
I feel like I always do that. But yeah, I think it's great when it comes to people also being familiar with it. Like people are going to want to be paid for their attention, right? And I think that something like Clash Dome. I don't know if you guys know about Clash Dome on Wax. It kind of has like a bunch of games where you could play, earn like their tokens and stuff, but you could also use those tokens to not only sell in exchange for Wax on Alcor, but you could actually just craft things within the game and unlock different features. And it's a lot of games that are familiar. Like they have kind of a Candy Crush version called Candy Fiesta, I believe. I had my sister playing that this morning. She plays Candy Crush all the time, but now she's earning something that she could do different things with. So I think that it is very important. I agree totally with you.
Well, and then that you bring up a good point, because what about being able to earn tokens or items that are cross game, they're cross chain items, right? I think that's a huge part of the future as well, is being able to unlock other cool things in other games with this stuff. So I think there's potential there, but yeah, we do get caught up, and I think a lot of projects come across, and then they are straight up just ponzing the shit out of people, and so it gives this structure a bad name. But this is already happening. Once again, you play World of Warcraft, this already happens. People love playing the game, and most people just don't participate in that element of it, right? But they love playing the game, just like Zueljin was saying, he loves playing Theta and Arena. There is a whole crypto element there, and you can buy and sell skins and earn crypto and do whatnot, but that doesn't mean everyone has to participate in it. Like, if you're not doing it, like, oh my gosh, this game's not fun anymore. Maybe it helps you rank up, whatever. Maybe you make a little bit of cheddar back, and there will always be those people out there that want to farm. We've seen it in every major MMO ever that has any kind of in-game currency or in-game items. I mean, every one of them.
Yep.
So I think finding a way to work that into a game loop will eventually happen. We'll find the balance, but we just may not be there yet.
I still sub for a members month of old school RuneScape here and then,
Yeah.
So I get that. There's always someone wanting to grind on the old MMOs.
I mean, people are still playing Sims.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the old school, like yeah, like you said, RuneScape. Like there's games that have been around for a long time, and players come and go. We see that with all kinds of games. In particular, new games that come out, especially now, the attention span of a gamer is very short. So when we talk about, like, oh my gosh, it's horrible how this crypto game come out, and then within 6 months no one was playing it. I mean, that's games in general. That's not just crypto games, And so when we think about, but the problem is then a bunch of people invested, and now they can't get their money back because there's nobody there to buy the stuff anymore, and they're like, it's a Ponzi scheme. Look, because no one else's news coming in. I've lost all my money. It's a Ponzi, and I'm like, well, the problem there is that you were investing in it because you thought it was an investment. And that's the way you were looking at it. Not necessarily that this is a fun game I was playing, and eventually it's going to go down. If you're playing a regular game and you went and spend a bunch of money, which I've done this before, and then something happens after 6-8 months, you're done. Like, you can't get any money back. You're literally rugged for everything every time. I'd rather have the chance, even just the inkling of a chance, to get some of my investment back that I put into a game that I really love.
Well, yeah, and you think about that at scale too. It's like every gamer who plays a ton of games, who's played video games their whole life, probably has like a graveyard of like you said, games that they were into for 3 to 6 months and then just dropped, right? And imagine if you could get your money back, not just the $4 that GameStop is going to offer you for the disc.
Yeah. And someone in chat just put a pretty good comment, and this is something I've thought about too. Every financial interaction is a Ponzi scheme on a long enough time scale, and that's 100% true. And that's something that most people don't. Yeah, fiat. I mean,
it's a pyramid scheme.
So many things. There's so many things there that you could really start classifying that and saying it's a Ponzi scheme, it's a pyramid scheme, if you look at a long enough time scale.
Yep.
I mean,
that's just life.
That's the essence of FOMO.
I mean, blockchain is just like much more transparent than the traditional system we've been using. So, I mean, if there was some sort of shady business going on, you better bet crypto Twitter is going to expose it. Like, everybody's looking at the blockchain. So, I think it would be pretty difficult. Not that it could be done, but
Stache? Are we going to go for the last topic here? Or
let's do it quick.
Yeah. All right. All right, we're running slim on time, but we're going to do a lightning round on our last topic here, guys. So we're talking about battle of the NFT marketplaces. Me being a Solana maxi, I'm super hyped about the Magic Eden marketplace. Just came out with an announcement about a big funding raise that they just did. Let me check the exact number. $27 or $27 million.
$27. Damn.
You have a big sale.
$27 million Series A funding round from Sequoia and Paradigm, two pretty big venture capital firms. And they're, one of the leading marketplaces on Solana, and really just speculating. I want to get your guys' opinion on like what this kind of says about NFT marketplaces and what we might see coming down the road. Stache, let me ask you, man, do you see like any Magic Eden right now only Solana based, doesn't have anything to do with Ethereum? Do you see maybe Magic Eden or any other non Ethereum based marketplace maybe starting to integrate Ethereum and starting to actually compete with OpenSea for some of its market share? Do you see that happening in the future at all?
100%. We're going to see cross-chain marketplaces be the predominant future for NFTs and gaming assets. where they're not just beholden to one chain. It's going to happen. I mean, it's already happening. We're starting to see some of them. It just, when is it going to be a big successful one? Like one of the ones underneath the radar, which a lot of people don't talk about, is called Ghost Market. It just doesn't get the attention and the marketing as a lot of other projects out there, like what we're seeing with, Looks Rare or Magic Eden or a couple other ones, right? But I think we will. I think we'll see a cross-chain marketplace that will, start to take over dominance from an OpenSea, in particular with all the faults we are seeing happening with a market like OpenSea when they're not innovating.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like even with all the faults, Zueljin, do you think like once we start to see bigger NFT marketplace names come into the cross-chain space, like do you think OpenSea remains the dominant ETH marketplace still?
I mean, for a little while. I mean, Walmart's still the dominant retailer, but that doesn't mean that there's no room for competition. I like that idea of exchanges doing multiples, though. I would love to see OpenSea have a few more blockchains under their belt, as well as some of the more established Solana NFT exchanges or marketplaces right now, because I tell you what, after the XYZ thing, I'm scared to death of putting my money into any new exchange or marketplace. I just am. I like watching the ebbs and flows of it and making sure that something's more secure before I get into it. Because of the vulnerabilities of blockchain and smart contracts and things of that nature. It's to the point to where I never did this before, but I'm starting to use burner wallets, which is one of the other things about regulation and stuff, and some of the caveats you'll see in different exchanges and playing with them that you just don't know what you're kind of messing with until you get familiar with it, So I kind of hope that happens a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. I think it's going to be an interesting year for NFTs, especially in that regard. Young, let me get your opinion, like specifically on OpenSea. When we get to this era of competition for NFT marketplaces, what like are some of the things that you would say OpenSea could improve upon today to make sure that they stay number one?
I mean, OpenSea has a shadow of centralization to it. If you saw last week, they were banning Iran artists from uploading to their account of OpenSea. They're going to implement some crazy KYC, I heard, as well, with big regulation. They're two guys that run the largest marketplace in the world right now. But yeah, there's some competition, like Zueljin said, Walmart to your Target. But there's integrations I want to see in OpenSea now, like batch buying. You can do that with Genie.xyz, multiple buying at one time. So I don't have to spend multiple gas fees, each one individually. Sorry to the people on X2Y2 and Looks Rare. X2Y2 is at 22 cents. Looks Rare is at $1. I mean, it's nice that even more market share. They take those royalties and those fees. There's a bunch of stuff that they can improve on, but that's why I'm looking towards like Genie and even what you're talking about, Solana. I think they all can coexist, but that's the beauty about this, the blockchain. Things can coexist, and we can, use our money where we want to use it.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting too. I think we're going to see a centralized marketplace take, we're going to see it move out of the spotlight, which, and I think P2P marketplaces are something that haven't really had a time to shine and are going to have like people are going to start coming out with P2P marketplaces and auto escrow systems. There's a pretty cool one on Solana right now, but that across all blockchains, I think would be a good fix, and is going to get a lot of market share
that
from
sounds juicy.
decentralized.
Yeah, and it takes a long time. It's funny because ever since I think 2017, I was talking about DEXs being I was like 2018 is the year of the DEX, and then I was like, damn, it didn't happen in 2018. Like 2019 is the year of the DEX, and and then until Uniswap came along, there was just one killer product that made it happen, and then boom, it was. And so I think that's what we're waiting for still with NFTs.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? MTC, last but certainly not least, with our final question here of the night, let me ask you, what would you say is your favorite NFT marketplace, and which is the one that you kind of find yourself using most often?
Right now, I'm actually using NFT blocks quite a lot as an NFT marketplace, because now they have trade to earn, which is super zesty. So if you could add liquidity to make the wax neft pair, stake that, earn wax rewards if you're NFT rewards, I'm sorry. And if you're trading on the marketplace, buying and selling NFTs like you usually would on, let's say, Atomic Hub or NFT Hive, you could actually earn NFT for that and stake that NFT and earn wax in return. So there's like a lot going on there. So I like the kind of trade to earn aspect. I like to know that, I'm also benefiting from, buying NFTs and just trying to get involved in the ecosystem. So I really like that.
And yeah, I mean, NFT marketplaces on Wax too are like some of the most user friendly of all of them. I mean, just from
definitely
from the layer one perspective up, you know what I mean? From the base layer up.
Yeah.
But that's all the time we have tonight, guys. I want to thank you for joining us here on Around the Metaverse. You guys watching out there, thanks for coming to the show too. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit the subscribe before we leave here. And also don't forget to check out all of our guests' channels in the description below. We love these guys, and we also want to show them some mustache love out here. So do us that favor as well. But that's all for tonight, guys. See you next week. This has been Around the Metaverse. See you later.
Nice time.